Hello, this is WellArmedWithTacos, and this is the other game that I played today. This is my 40k game that I played on the 10th of September, 9/10/16. This should be going up on Sunday, which I was about to say the date out loud and then realized that that's a very special day that changed a lot. So let's not bring that up because that's not what this video is for. So, I played Warhammer 40k. With no hyperbole, I can safely say this was the second biggest loss I've ever had. I got creamed. I got annihilated. I got utterly destroyed. I got decimated. I got nuked. As many other words as you can come up with, as many of the cinnamon. I like cinnamon. Cinnamon's tasty. Cinnamon. I can't say that word. I'm sorry. It's 11:49 at night as I record this, so no words like that anymore. I was thoroughly defeated. All my base belonged to him. I was defeated. All right. I played Tau, and right off the bat, if I've ranted about my Tau before, I probably have. I don't have a good win streak with my Tau, and I don't think they're that strong of a codex anymore. I don't do good with my Tau. My Tau do not like me, and this was a prime example of my Tau just being against me in every way. I played Tau, and I was against Chaos Space Marines, and this is a different Chaos player than I usually play against, but it was still a Chaos player, so more Chaos. I think all these videos have been about Chaos. I think all the 40k videos have had Chaos in them in one way or another, I think. I can't think of one that hasn't. I don't know. Anyways, not something to think about right now. At the end of the game, the point values were, or the number of points scored was 0 to 5, with my opponent having scored 5, me having scored none. I was tabled, which means there was nothing left I could do, and it ended on turn 4. And it only ended on turn 4 because he wasn't able to finish me off turn 3 because I had a couple of dudes that held out. But it was over turn 1. So, I tried to write down kind of what we brought. He brought 2 units of cultists. He brought 1 unit of Space Marines who had the Marcus Lanesh. He brought a Librarian, which he put in his Chaos Space Marines. And he put a Rhino. He used a Rhino, which he put in the Chaos Space Marines. The Rhino is important to note here because it has a Dirge Caster, which we will go into later. He brought a Demon Prince. He brought 3 Chaos Spawns, which in my opinion are a very underrated model. And he brought 3 Chaos Spawns as separate units. They were all 3 of his fast attack slots. Just one of them. 1 Chaos Spawn, 1 Chaos Spawn, 1 Chaos Spawn. And you laugh, but they really helped him win the game. I had 3 units of Fire Warriors. I had 1 unit of Pathfinders, 1 Stealth Team, and 2 Ethereals. That was kind of my thing. I was kind of trying to do just an infantry line. I do that a lot. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Today, it didn't. So, I got to deploy first. This is, right off the bat, is where things started going downhill. I got to deploy first, which is a good thing. I put my army out, and then he got to go, and then he puts his army out. My Stealth team and my Pathfinder teams both were off the board because they infiltrated. So, after we both deployed, my Pathfinder team infiltrated, and my Stealth team infiltrated. My Stealth team infiltrated within 18 inches, exactly 18 inches. I was going to say give or take, but no, it's exactly 18 of his Demon Prince. Because I intended to shoot the Demon Prince. Here's where things immediately go wrong, and I lose the game basically outright from the very beginning. He's going second, so he gets to roll a die to seize the initiative. He rolls a 6. He seizes the initiative. His turn 1. The Demon Prince flies 12 inches, or jump moves 12 inches to the 18 inches away Stealth team and gets charge off. Every turn of this game I played, of 4 turns, every single turn, the Demon Prince was locked in close combat. Every turn. Every turn. Even turn 1. Against Tau. You can see, if you know 40k, you can see how I lost. So he steals. The Demon Prince immediately charges into my stealth team, and he takes some free shots at me and moves his army forward. Tau, in my opinion, very much need to go first or kind of lose. In 40k, there is a sort of balancing act between going first and going second. If you go first, you get to shoot your opponent first. If let's say we're playing 1,000 points, and this game was 1,000 points. If you're playing 1,000 points, your turn 1, you shoot me with 1,000 points because you have 1,000 points. Unless you have anything in reserves, you have 1,000 points on the table. You shoot me with 1,000 points worth of army. My turn 1, my turn 1, which comes after yours, if I went second, I'm shooting you back with less than 1,000 points because you wounded me with your first volley of shots. We're not at the same time. The balance, the intentional balance, is the person who goes first, who gets to shoot first, usually doesn't get to assault. Because in most cases, the enemy is, you start 24 inches away, and the most you can move and still charge is 12. Which means you need to roll boxcars, and that's ignoring any kind of terrain or other negative penalties. It doesn't usually happen. But the player who goes second, which is still game turn 1, but goes second, usually gets to declare charges. So that's kind of the balance. With most armies, you have a little bit of shooting and a little bit of melee. You usually have both. Probably usually more shooting than you do melee, unless you like your orcs, in which it's reverse. Tau are no melee. We are not a melee army. Melee is not our thing. We don't do melee at all. The only guy who does melee is Farsight. I hate Farsight, and I don't field Farsight. No Farsight. We are not a melee army. I have Kroot, but even then, they prefer to shoot. They can do combat, but they prefer to shoot. So, not a melee army. So not going first for Tau is nothing but a straight disadvantage. It is a straight disadvantage. There's no positive benefit for Tau to not go first. They need it. They really do. It's a big disadvantage. And for a Demon Prince to immediately be able to charge before I have any hopes of shooting it, no shooting at all, that's bad. That's big time bad. So he gets free shots at me, and his Rhino moves forward, and his Rhino has a thing called Dirge Casters, which don't matter on this turn, but they matter in a few turns coming up. Dirge Caster says any unit within 6 inches cannot fire Overwatch. Again, if you play Tau, this is a bad thing, because Tau's biggest special rule is they do a lot of Overwatch. They're kind of designed to soften everything and then Overwatch it to death when it gets too close. That's kind of how the army works. So his cultists move forward, shoot me, kill a couple of guys. Both the units of cultists do this. His Rhino moves forward, shoots, kills a couple of guys because it has a blast template called a Havoc Launcher, and it's been pretty effective on killing my dudes. All 3 of his Chaos Spawns move forward. Normally, a Chaos Spawn is a 35-point model of not too particularly great. Against Tau, they're one of the most genius things I've ever seen. Because even the Chaos Spawn is brilliant against Tau in close combat. We'll get to that. So his Demon Prince, his turn 1, before I've had my turn at all, assaults into the stealth team. And of course, they Overwatch, and they deal a single wound to it, which is not enough to matter. It immediately kills them. And then, what he does is, this is brilliant. This is brilliant on his part, but it screwed me. I mean, obviously it's brilliant on his part, so it's not good for me. He consolidates his Demon Prince behind a building. The Demon Prince can fly, which means it can jump over the building and ignore it as if it wasn't there. But he hides behind the building with this consolidation, so none of my other units can draw line of sight to it. I can't see it. I can't shoot it. My turn 1 comes up. I cannot shoot the Demon Prince because I have nothing that has line of sight to it. That's not true. I should correct myself. My 1 unit, my Kroot, had line of sight to it. That's it. So, my Fire Warriors just shoot everything they can shoot. I drop 2 of the Chaos Spawns, because at this point, if I don't kill them now, they will charge me. I have to. I have to drop them. I'm Tau. I have to. So I kill the 2 Chaos Spawns. One of the other Chaos Spawns is far enough away I mostly ignore it. I kill the 2 Chaos Spawns, and I kill a couple of cultists. I don't shoot the Rhino at all. My Kroot shoot the Demon Prince and deal 1 more wound to it. So it's got 2 wounds now. Because my Kroot, I took the sniper rifle rounds on them, which means I can wound monstrous creatures on 4s instead of needing some other ridiculous number to die. But they moved, so they need 6s to hit. So it was either 4s to hit and 6s to wound, or 6s to hit and 4s to wound. So I took the 6s. It jinked. Because it didn't have any shooting it needed to worry about. So it jinked, which means it's got a badass cover save. Which is why I ultimately only did 1 wound to it, and that was a good thing. His turn 2 comes. The Demon Prince moves 12, flies right over the building, and is, within 3 inches of my next Fire Warrior unit? Like my blood, my life and blood on my army. It assaults. It kills him within 2 turns. I had 3 units of Fire Warriors, 1 on the left, 1 on the right, 1 in the middle. My Ethereals were on the one in the left and the right, because that way they were buffing everybody. The Chaos Spawn assaults into the side on the left. The Bloodthirster goes into the one on the right. This is turn 2. By the time we ended on turn 4, that Chaos Spawn was still alive. Because a Chaos Spawn versus, 10 Fire Warriors and an Ethereal in close combat is victory for Chaos Spawn. Even a Chaos Spawn. That's all it takes against Town in close combat. That's all it takes. And that was kind of a death knell. His Bloodthirster, his Demon Prince assaults into one side of my table, and the other one assaults into the other. I have, only things I don't have in combat by that point are a little bit of Kroot, the Pathfinders, and the middle group of Tau, the Fire Warriors. His vehicle finishes coming forward. By this point, I'm completely in Dirge Caster, so I can't overwatch it all. His 10 Space Marines, one of which is the Librarian, pop out, shoot the blazes out of me, more units dead. It came to a point where the only things I had left on the table were the 2 things in combat. The Bloodthirster killed the unit of fire, or not the Bloodthirster, the Demon Prince killed the unit of Fire Warriors, then jumped into the next group of Fire Warriors, then jumped into the group of Pathfinders. It leaped from combat to combat to combat because there's nothing I can do to stop it. And it was a complete devastation. We tallied points at the end. He tabled me, and I killed less than 200 points. In a 1,000-point game, I was able to kill less than 200 points. I severely wounded a unit of cultists down to 1 man. They're only about 60 points. I killed a couple of cultists in the other unit, and I killed 2 Chaos Spawns. That's it. I did not kill a single Chaos Space Marine out of 10. I didn't wound his Librarian. And by the end of it, his Demon Prince still had only taken 2 wounds. It was still perfectly alive, and his other Chaos Spawn was still alive. It was a cream. It was complete devastation. I did not... Some of it was bad dice rolls. Most of it was good dice rolls on his part. The fact that he saw the initiative, that meant everything. That really did mean everything, because otherwise he would not have been able to charge turn 1. I would have shot him and then moved back with my stealth team, because they can do that. They can move back in the assault phase with their jump packs. But it did not happen. This was an example of basically stealing the initiative to steal the game, and that's really what happened. So, thank you for listening, and maybe I'll have more stories next week. Bye.